In this question, we've got a triangle and we've got to find a missing side, I. It's a right angle triangle, so the first thing I think about is this a Pythagoras question? I have one side, and in Pythagoras, I need two sides to find the third side. So this is not a Pythagoras question. So it must be trigonometry. And in trigonometry, I've got to know my trig ratios, SOHCAHTOA. My next step is to label up my triangle. Opposite the right angle, I have my hypotenuse. Opposite my angle, I have my opposite side. And the one next to the angle is my adjacent. And then I have to ask, which sides do I have or which sides do I want? Well, I have my hypotenuse, that's 7 centimeters, and I want my adjacent. So now I look at my trig ratios and I say, which one has A and H in it? If I look at the first one, that's got O and H, so that's no good. If I look at the last one, that's got O and A, so that's no good. But Ka has got A and H in it, so that's the trig ratio that I want to use. If I turn it into a triangle, now because I'm looking for the adjacent side, the C and the H are next to each other, so I know that they are going to be multiplied. So A is my side I, and that equals C, which is the cos of the angle, 46 degrees, times by the hypotenuse, which is 7 centimeters. If I put that into the calculator, I can work out that I equals 4.86 centimeters to 3 significant figures. Here are two questions for you to have a go at. Press pause and we'll run through them in a few seconds. In this first question, I have a right angle triangle and I have one side, so I know it cannot be Pythagoras because in Pythagoras I need two sides in order to find the third side. So it must be trigonometry or SOHCAHTOA. So I'm going to write up my trig ratios. The next step is to label up the sides. Opposite the right angle, I have my hypotenuse. Opposite my angle, I have my opposite, and the one next to the angle is my adjacent. And then I have to say, which sides do I have or which sides do I want? Well, I have my opposite and I want my adjacent. And I say, which trig ratio has O and A in it? The first one has O and H, that's no good. The second one has A and H, that's no good. And the third one has O and A in it, so that's the one I'm going to use. Again, if I form it into a triangle, I know that I want the adjacent side, so it's going to be the opposite divided by the tangent. So my adjacent side is x, and that's going to equal my opposite side, which is 2.8, and the tangent of my angle, which is divided by the tangent of my angle, 31 degrees. If I put that into the calculator, I get 4.66 centimeters to 3 significant figures. In the next one, again, I've got a right angle triangle and I have to ask, is this a Pythagoras question? I have one side. In Pythagoras, I need two, so this is not a Pythagoras question. So again, it must be trigonometry, SOHCAHTOA. The next step is to label up my triangle. Opposite my right angle, I have my hypotenuse. Opposite my angle, I have my opposite. And next to my angle, I have my adjacent. And then I have to say, which trig ratios do I have or which ones do I want? Well, I have my hypotenuse, 75 centimeters, and I want my opposite, which is x. And I say, which trig ratio has O and H in it? If I take a look at the first one, I've got an O and I've got a H, so I know that SOH is my trig ratio that I need to use. Again, if I turn it into a triangle, I want to find my opposite side, so I know I have to multiply the sine of the angle times the hypotenuse. So my opposite side is x, and that equals the sine of my angle, 55 degrees, times 75 centimeters. If I put that into the calculator, I get 61.4 centimeters to 3 significant figures.